I felt that today I should describe William Samoei Arap Ruto, his political activity. In the past, quite a number of people have told me that I am pro-Ruto. Some have even been rude to go to an extent saying that I've been paid by Ruto to spread propaganda on his behalf. Well, when you say that I've been paid to say this and that, it is not me you are doubting the shamba between the 2 years. It is you yourself who has nothing between the 2 years. Why do I say so? In any debate and in any argument and in any discussion, don't you have a right to agree with somebody? Are you trying to say that whoever agree that Ruto talks nonsense and those who agree with him are only dished money? Well, I have to tell you that I have no connection to Ruto, although I regularly am in contact with the KJ. Maybe next time I meet him, I'll tell him to talk to the president that nimemtetea sana na hata sijapewa hata ndururu. Anyway, that is on a lighter note. I have seen people, especially people who are very close to Raila Amolo Odinga. To them, if you disagree with them, they say, why you have been paid, you have been paid. But for those of us, me included, and Raila included, who fought for the second liberation and suffered for it, we were against people being hardened like cattle into one thinking. Where during those days when I was younger, if you did not agree with the system, they would say, actually, ask anybody of my age and above, they'll tell you, if you said anything that was against the approved lineage of thinking, they used to tell you that millions have been poured by foreign agents. Now, after the so-called second liberation, we are not even allowed to have our own independent thinking. You say something and then somebody rushes and says, he has been paid to say that. If you are a Democrat, okay, if you say I'm paid, can you prove the transaction? I have how many accounts? I have an account with Caritas, I have an account with Equity, I have an account with Cooperative. There are 3 accounts. And M-Pesa. If any of those transactions show any money that I cannot explain, by any money I mean, a person like Ruto cannot give you 10,000. So if any neighbor or anything has seen me paying or living a lifestyle that indicates that I've gotten over 100,000, then that is evidence enough. Because nowadays, you don't have to send me money through M-Pesa. You can even give me cash money. In lack of any reasonable explanation apart from you are siding with Ruto, then you must be paid. It can only be concluded that you are no different from the Kanu people who used to say millions and millions have been poured by foreign masters. Personally, if people believe that I'm this and that, and I am not, that is what happens with democracy. If you want to know the problem with democracy say wengi wape. You can see you elect a lot of people. Sorry to say, go to Malava constituency. You'd think that you are in the Kenyan of 18th century. Nyumba za matope. Move to the next constituency in any direction you want to go. There is no single constituency that has not constructed 3 or 4 storied building. But in Malava, they still have matope schools. They still the walls are still, when there is rain, and the desks, desks, they still use that quick is something. They don't have the new ones. And if the building is between you and a sugarcane plantation, you can see the sugarcane plantation in the other side. And the people in Malava just elect the same person again and again, and it is 15 times. So that is what of the examples I've shown you. That democracy means if you decide, like Malava people, to be electing the same person who still has over 10 primary schools za matope and the neighboring areas have. It is not that Malava doesn't have better leaders. It is just that this man is Kabwere who knows how to bembeleza watu. And that is what I'm saying. If by viewers, majority of them feel that I'm pro Ruto, it doesn't mean I'm pro Ruto. Just like Malava feel, or every time they're electing the same person. He's a fellow who never misses funerals. So if the next election come, the Malava people elect him, they elect, and that constituency has more than 10 qualified people, better than all the MPs are going around. So if majority of the people watching this channel say that I am pro Ruto, it can be 90% they would say that. But does that change me? My action and activities and whatever are the, and even not even activities, my heart and brains, those are the two things that can make me pro Ruto or anti Ruto or neutral. So on this one, I am going to talk about how I have studied Ruto political life, and I can say that he is the real professor of politics. He's the real professor of politics in Kenya's history. Let me start from word go. You remember when Soita Shitanda died, Ruto himself said, ni kujipanga nani? Hii ni kujipanga. Unaona hapa, ukifanya hivi na hivi unaenda. Mzee mwingine alifanya namna hii akaingia msituni. That is Ruto explaining himself correctly. He knows how to hivi na unaenda. Exactly the way he described himself during the funeral of Soita Shitanda. That is exactly Ruto. And I can start this way. Ruto used to stay in Riruta satellite at a place called Ngando, or I don't know. Some people may call Ngando at the race course, others would call it Riruta satellite, but it is between those two places. He used to stay there. Then Jirongo started, YK92. Jirongo started YK92, and Jirongo chose Ruto because of, from Lumakanda to where Ruto was born, Kamagut, just a walking distance. Nowadays, it's a border distance from Kamagut to Lumakanda. So these people are neighbors. But you see, having that a person from Rift Valley and one from Western, if you talk of somebody from Rift Valley, somebody from Lokichokyo is from Rift Valley, and somebody from Loitoktok is from Rift Valley. So you'd think that they are neighbors. But when you take a distance from Kamagut to Lumakanda, it's just the next door neighbors. So that is how he started. But you see, the problem with the Jirongo is that from where I am, because I just said that I should not conclude and say he's that way. Maybe he's not that way. The way you people are concluding about me. But I get an impression that Jirongo, when he uplifts you, he wants you to be in his temple. But you see, Ruto is like Ruto, ni kwenda huku na kwenda huku na unajipanga na unaenda. That is what he does. So Jirongo introduced Ruto to YK92. From YK92, you know, a person like Zipporah Kitonyi and Ruben Jesire do consider Daniel Arap Moi as their maternal uncle. They are not related by blood, but they are so close that it is like an adopted Jomba. What happened was, when their mother was being married, she gave her groom a condition, just one condition, that in my village there is a bright young boy whom I want you to educate him. And her husband said, just educating one boy, no problem. So he educated Moi, the first person to start educating Moi. And then if you meet Zipporah Kitonyi, she'll tell you that she remembers when she was a young girl, a young baby, whenever she would want fruits from the trees in her compound, Uncle Moi, who was tall, would stretch his hand and get the fruits for her, mangoes and so on. So that is how it is. He is more or less like an uncle to Ruben Jesire. But one thing Moi hated, and I remember the only thing that it was only once that somebody talked about Moi from where he came from, saying that mnamuona huyu Moi, I knew him when he was, alikuwa mtu maskini, alikuwa na Chevrolet saa peke yake. There is only one person who ever told that Moi, who ever said that in public, and nothing happened to him because of what he said. I know he had a lot of problems with Moi, but not because he said so. Dickson Kihika Kimani once said that mnaona tu Moi akiwa rais na magari kubwa kubwa na nyingi. Mimi nilijua Moi akiwa na ka Chevrolet kamoja kamzee. And Moi laughed and nothing happened to him. But what Moi hated most, Moi hated being reminded of, I hated those people who knew him about his poor past and who wanted to expose it. So he would do anything within his limit, not to associate himself with people who knows about his past. That is Moi. Now Ruben Jesire one time got annoyed, and Moi had a lot of spies. So as one day Ruben Jesire, the MP for Eldoret, is it North? Yeah, one day he got annoyed and said he regretted that his father agreed to educate this person. Those things reached Moi, and Moi approached Jirongo. Can you look? That was 1997. Can you look for a young man who? Can you look for a young man who will replace Jesire? And that is when Jirongo remembered his YK 92 days and got. He remembered his YK 92 days and he got Ruto as the MP. For those of you who do not know, Ruto was made an assistant minister in the office of the president, and unless somebody corrects me, to date is the only assistant minister who used to attend cabinet meetings. The only assistant minister who used to attend cabinet meetings. What used to happen those days is that if the minister is sick, dead, or for any reason, or even out of the country, and something has to be done by the minister for that ministry, let's say in the cabinet, another minister would be appointed by the president to act in the capacity of that minister for the period that that minister will not be there. Or if he has died and the president is thinking of placing another minister, because the assistant minister or assistant ministers were not allowed to enter into the cabinet meeting. But Ruto used to attend cabinet meetings. From there, Ruto started developing politically. But then, being a YK92 person and having that Moi follower, it is Raila who went to Rift Valley. I remember the day when Raila was when Ruto was installed as a Kalenjin elder. They were installed too. Raila was installed and Ruto was installed on the same day. They were both given stool, shield, and spear to be Kalenjin elders. And when Raila spoke on that very same meeting, he told Ruto that you are going to be the leader of the Kalenjins. But if you are waiting for Moi to, 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 to crown you as the king of the Kalenjins, then you are wrong. You are wrong. You have to fight it. You have to. So it yendi alimwekea finyo mpaka Ruto who was akakuwa hivyo. Yani Ruto who used to be a yes man akakuwa why not? It is Raila who made him so. And he went on that way until he even formed the Pentagon. Pentagon had 6 people. Pentagon had 6 people. And if you remember recently in China, out of the 6 people, 1 is dead. Joseph Nyaga is dead. So there are remaining 5. And 3 were there. 3 were there. The only 2 who were not there were Ngilu and Balala. So today the government of Kenya is the orange Pentagon that is ruling, although the arrangements is a bit different, because according to the arrangements of the Pentagon orange, if they were to win the elections, Raila would have been the president, Musalia would have been the vice president, and Ruto would have been the prime minister. Vindu vichenjanga. Now he became the king of Rift Valley because of the Pentagon. Now, when he got control of the Rift Valley, there is one thing that Raila has always made a mistake. I can say 2. 1, Raila, after every election, he must differ strongly with some of his greatest supporters. He breaks with them. And second, he uses mandamano. I mean, he uses, okay, mandamano is part of it, but he uses the struggle. And when he has a chance, like in Kamiti, he had a chance, he had to be given a shamba to Lima. That is 1. 2, when he was giving evidence against Njonjo about attempted coup, he had been promised that after giving the evidence, he would be released from detention. So Raila has that capacity of bringing up people. When he brings them up people, he causes a lot of problems, but he goes there and squeezes a deal for himself individually. So when there was the 2007, Ruto did not participate in that. Why am I saying so? I stayed in West Pokot from August 1983 to January 1988. I knew Lotodo personally, and I knew everything about it. But then these people who are human rights activists, kuna watu wengi wanakaa tu Nairobi and they get a lot of money from international NGOs. So they stayed in Nairobi and decided, you see, in a case it is supposed to be beyond reasonable doubt, but they decided that they have to include the name of Lotodo. Now it was said that Lotodo and Ruto organized for the burning of the Kiambaa church. The Kiambaa church and Lotodo has, and those international NGOs abroad, when they Googled the name Francis Lotodo, it just said, a Kenyan warlord, tribal warlord. So it fitted, and these people are given lots of money, the NGOs. But then, if I have to talk about Kiambaa what? Kiambaa church burning, I want to talk as a detective, because I've said it was a bit hard to pin Ruto on that, because they included the name of somebody who had died 5 years earlier in South Africa, and he was being said that he's the one who stayed in one place with the Ruto and organized that. But on the other side, I have to say this: look at the people from Kiambaa, and that is why we even had an election in Kiambaa here, and people tried to use that as an. But you know, the Kiambaa people in Kiambu are the ones who went and settled in Kiambaa in Eldoret, just like in Trans Nzoia, we have Keio Farm. People came from Elgeyo Marakwet and went and formed Keio Farm. Luhya Farm, Kolongolo are children of. So people move and start things. And then somebody came here and said, Kiambaa, don't elect Kawanjiko. You know, he's associated with the person who banned your people in Kiambaa, Eldoret. But you know, these people in Kiambu, they are related to those people who died in Kiambaa. So trying to tell them when they know the truth of what happened. Now, here in brief is what happened in the Kiambaa church. For you to, a few days before the church was burned, it is alleged that Ruto, among other people, and okay, let us not include Lotodo, that Ruto and among other people sat down and decided to go and burn the Kiambaa church. But when you talk to the witnesses who are there during the Kiambaa, everybody, when houses were being burned, people decided to run to the church, believing that people will respect a holy place and they will not be attacked there. So it is the Kikuyus who first decided to run to the church at the spur of the moment when they saw there was tension and whatever. They decided to go to the church in the belief that people will, when the people see them inside a holy place, they will not pursue them there. So when they went there, the other people at the spur of the moment is when they decided to go and burn that place. And that is why the people in Kiambaa overwhelmingly voted against that propaganda which was saying that there was an organization, because those people who went there are their people and they know them. So when Kiambaa thing came, Raila aliruka Ruto, because he even talked in parliament when he was the prime minister. He said, let those people go, let them go to Hague, wajitete huko. The way nilijitetea mambo yangu ya nini, ya attempted coup, and I'm here, so they can go there, clear their names and come back. The people from Rift Valley were watching that. And you know, in Kenya, we have an attitude of siding with the people we believe they are underdogs. So the Kalenjins sided with him because they saw that by him being taken to Hague, he was being taken, whether he did it or not. But if he had not campaigned for Raila, and Raila had aliruka, plus the other issue that I think was unfairly used was the issue of Mau Forest. because we need to have more forest cover. So that is how Ruto now became the political king there. And then from there, it was now a matter of coalitions, and that is how he sided with Kina Uhuru Kenyatta. But then, finally, as I finish my 30 minutes, I want to say that somebody said that Jacob Juma was killed by Ruto. I wanted to comment on that. What Ruto does, according to what I know, is that Ruto does not kill the body. Ruto kills the political life of you. He's a political assassin, but not a person assassin. What do I mean by political assassin? If you politically disagree with Ruto, forget about being elected. Na hatumii uganga. This is what he does. I've not forgotten about Jacob Juma. I'll come to that. He started his struggle to be the Rift Valley chief against Isaac Ruto. Isaac Ruto, who was the Bomet initial governor. And they used to struggle. What did he do? He just chose a lady. And I tell you, Ruto is somebody, you can call me what you want, but that is the truth. Ruto is the person who gets ash and adds a C, it becomes cash. He took a lady, approached her, said, "You're going to be the next governor of Bomet." She said, "But you see, I'm married to a Luo." Said, "No, you're going to be taken." And imagine taking what do you call? Taking a lady, because sincerely speaking, in Kenya, you can see how ladies do have problems in whatever position they have, elective and even promotional, head teachers and whatever, what they have, problems they have. Now, getting a lady to be the governor was a problem. Two, a lady who not only is a lady, but her husband is from another former province, Obonyo. And he did that. And he finished off the Isaac Ruto. Isaac Ruto is now one of the staunchest supporters of William Samoei Ruto. I may be mistaken, but I think Isaac Ruto has forgotten politics. Who else can I say? There are many, but mostly in Rift Valley, and now it is extending out of Kenya. If you go to Rift Valley, when the initial governor completed his term, it was obvious that Buzeki was going to be the next governor. Buzeki has the political appeal, has the financial might, and so on and so on. And that seat would have been his for the taking. But he decided to go against Ruto. Just like Ruto picked a sister of his who is married in another province and made her the governor. He took somebody who was so poor that he had only one coat, koti moja, and made him the governor. See? As we are getting out of Rift Valley, you can see Moi dynasty out. I can tell you. The first one to be finished was Gideon Moi. The brother, there was a problem with the election had to be repeated, and already people knew who had already won the presidential, so electing the MP was not a problem. And all MP elect and all the Senate, the governor elect surrounded that polling station. I don't want to say what type of convincing they had, but whichever direction you came from, they would tell you. I hope you understand what I say to tell you. They would tell you not to vote for Raymond. And let me tell you, people say Kibaki ni mali ngumu. People say Raila ni mali ngumu. Not if you can compare them to Raymond Omolo. Raymond, I nearly said Raymond Omolo. Raymond Toroitich Moi. So the Moi dynasty is out. You can see he has cleaned Rift Valley. Now he goes to provincial places. Let us start with Western Province. Don't be shocked that in 2027 in January, Mudavadi will declare that I came, I saw, I came, I saw, I shot. So he'll tell them people that he no longer is interested in politics. It's quite possible that 2027 Mudavadi will not contest for any seat and he'll just be another Moody Awori. Retire and stay at home. So in Western, even Papa Roma, I also expect that in the next election, he will not contest for any seat. Now you see that is Western. Rift Valley nimesema alifagia. Go to Coast. Now in Coast, having Joho and the other and Kingi and others. So you can say that he's comfortable in Coast. Which is the other hotspot? Nyanza. You saw what happened in Kondele. In Kondele, if elections are held right now, and especially because I take it to the bank, not the river bank, but take it to the World Bank. I'm telling you now, and I'm telling you, looking at you, is that in February next year, Raila is going to be the AUC chair. He's going to be the AUC chair. And from there, you go to Rift Valley and say, you start calling Ruto the names that were being called just a few months ago. You'll be lucky to go to the ICU. Otherwise, you'll be the person going to mortuary. So you see, apart from Mukambani, just look at the whole place. Apart from Mukambani, we don't have a tribal chief. Ruto has, can I use Ruto has assassinated all tribal political leaders, politically, but not physically. Finishing off with the mambo ya Jacob Juma. Jacob Juma went to the same school that I went. The only school that I know has 3 names. You can call it Bungoma Secondary School, because that is what is written on my certificate. You can call it Bungoma Secondary School. You can call it Bungoma Boys, or you can call it Bungoma High. He went there several years after I left. Jacob Juma said, anything happening to me, blame it on Ruto. Now, I was not there. I even don't know who killed Jacob Juma. But I have to tell you that if it is true that Jacob Juma sent a tweet and said, if I'm killed, blame it Ruto. And then Ruto went and killed the same Jacob Juma. I would call Ruto a stupid person. Because you don't, when you're planning to kill somebody and somebody says it and then you go ahead and kill him, then you must be stupid. But I want to say this. I know about it. I know the Okondo issue. When Okondo talked and everybody said Okondo is going to kill the bishop, somebody else killed the bishop. So when Jacob Juma said that anything happening to him, Ruto should be blamed, it is the same as Operation Shika Nyundo. You do something and somebody else is blamed. And let us look at Jacob Juma after death. You see, Jimmy Wanjigi used to use people. In fact, nobody knew how he looked like. But apart from the long-term and short-term things that Jimmy Wanjigi did. One, Jimmy Wanjigi, within hours, he bought a coffin from the US, from abroad. Two, he went to Jacob Juma's widow. Jacob Juma's widow said so, and Jimmy Wanjigi accepted that there were some documents that he quickly ran and took. Now, where did he get all this idea of rushing to buy a coffin within hours of certifying that when it became open that he was dead. Within hours, you have bought a coffin, you have done ABCD. These things happen in Kenya. Even Gama Pinto, when Gama Pinto died, his wife was on shock, and she was taken to the veranda, and she saw some people going to her bedroom, getting some documents, and burning them in the veranda. So where did he get this idea of rushing to get those documents? And he has never returned the documents to. But most importantly, he now came out. He now came out because he was a dealer. He could make deals on how such and such a thing would happen. He had agreed with Saitoti that he would take the contract of SGR from Mombasa to Nairobi. And when Saitoti died, he joined the Uhuru camp, and promised him the Uhuru promised him the what do you call? Uhuru promised him the SGR. But when Uhuru was sworn in, he sent Alfred Kater. He told Alfred Kater to go and tell him that really haitaishia Nairobi, it will go all the way. So if that one has been taken to others, then it would be he would be given Nairobi to Uganda border. But why am I saying that about the Uganda border? I mean the SGR. What happens is this: we are hearing even of the stories at the airport. What happens is that a company and a foreign country would want to do something. Let's say Lapset, SGR. Now we hear Adan and so on. A foreign company is identified, but it is told to look for a company in Kenya which will have about 40% shares. So this foreign company comes. Let's say I have a company called Kabrengu. I'm given, Kabrengu Limited is given a contract to extend rail from Nairobi to Busia border. And you see, I have no technology in that. So I get a company, a foreign company, which opens up a local company and starts what we call, and it starts every profit I get 40%, and the 40% I will use in campaigning for the next president. So that is what the purpose of these recordings today was to say that the way I know Ruto is two ways. One, as he himself admitted during the Soita Shitanda's funeral that ni kujipanga nani Unaona, baba ya huyu alicheza na Jomo Kenyatta akaachwa. Hata yeye mwenyewe amejaribu akacheza na baba ya Raila alicheza na Jomo Kenyatta vibaya akaachwa kando. Huyu badala acheze vizuri na Mwai Kibaki akaenda hivi akaenda kando. Sasa mimi nakaa na huyu jamaa, he was calling Uhuru, huyu jamaa najua vile nakaa ni kujipanga nani. He's very good in kujipanga. You can see this thing about Gen Z. We all knew that he's gone. Now you can see Gen Z, instead of finishing him off, because this is the first time that Gen Z that the what do you call, the treasury bill has been rejected. This is the first time in history. But what comes out, and even the breaching of the High Court and the Parliament, it was only remaining the breaching of the State House. But how it comes, he now gains the whole of Nyanza province. So he's in brief, is Ruto is ni mtu wa kujipanga nani anajipanga anaenda hivi na hivi ni kujipanga. That is what he said. And two, Ruto has eliminated regional, call them tribal. He has eliminated regional political leaders. In the future, we are going to have a political leader who is not regional and who was not there during Moi's time. Thank you.